Hello everybody and thank you for joining me. This is Ciara from Ciara T Designs and today I have another watercolor painting to share with you. So let's jump right in. So I'm getting a little bit better at picking my colors. I didn't have a lot of the colors that the class had this time. So I'm going to use cerulean blue. The class was using turquoise. Then we have a yellow orange. I'm going to use Prussian blue, which the class used indigo. A yellow ochre. I used burnt sienna. The class used permanent brown. And then I'm going to use my indigo and the class used Payne's gray. I'm also going to bring in brilliant pink, which is a pastel by Holbein. So you're going to see me kind of swatch out the colors. This is based on a class on Skillshare. This isn't sponsored, though that would be really cool maybe one day. I've just really wanted to learn watercolor, and Skillshare is a great place to do that. So I am taking a class there. This is the 8th watercolor I have done, and I'm going to make a mistake in this one, and I really apologize, you guys. You'll see it as we get there. It's a little closer to the end, but I'm just swatching out the colors that we're going to use for the painting, and I do have a link for a free month in the description of this video if you're interested in checking out Skillshare. It's, like I said, not sponsored or anything. I just found this link and I thought it would be super useful for you guys because this is a 30-day class, the one that I'm taking, so I have a link to that as well if you're interested in checking it out, and it is 30 landscape paintings, and I have been really enjoying it. It's been a lot of ups and downs. I have, done some paintings that I love. I've done some paintings that I was not particularly happy with, but I've been having a lot of fun. So I do my paintings on a 5x7 piece of Arches watercolor cardstock, and I have it taped off on a hardboard just to keep it from curling. I am hoping to turn the paintings, at the end of my 30 days into postcards / prints. So if you guys might be interested in that, I'd like to put them up in my shop, I think. I don't know what to do with the originals. I don't know if I keep them or if I should sell them. I don't know what to do with them, but you can see that I kind of drew out the landscape. It is this cool, going to be a beautiful sky above kind of a bit of water, and then a rocky jutting out piece. And of course the sky is built with that yellow orange on the bottom, and then we go into the brilliant pink, which is the pastel, and then into the cerulean blue, but like a super watered down version of the cerulean blue. And as I said, I kind of am choosing my colors now. Before, I used to kind of try to use the exact colors that the class was using, but I don't own a lot of them. I have this one set, the Mijello Mission Gold palette you see on the left, and then I've picked up a few pastel watercolors by Holbein just because I really like pastel colors. So because of that, I wanted to invest in some pastels. So I kind of did that. And I did do a wash of water across the whole background. I am learning how much water to add across the background. It is a big learning curve. Because if you have too much, your paint moves too much and you get no real color, and if you don't have enough, your like background's dry before you get any blending. So it's a huge learning curve, and I've been having a lot of fun. Now the kittens were so interested in what I was doing that I'm gonna make a mistake with filming here in a minute. When we move on to the rocky structure, I end up not filming it, and sadly I loved this painting so much I really didn't want to start over, because I was one of those things where, because I like it, that I wouldn't like the next version. So I'm gonna go in here, and now the sky is pretty much complete. I'm gonna go in with a darker color of that same cerulean blue, and that's going to cover the water section here. And then this is where I'm going to make a mistake. So I had both kittens trying to get into my watercolor, and I also had my my internet was really slow, so the class was like skipping, and I forgot to hit record. So I'm going to walk you through how I created the rocky structure at the bottom, but sadly you're not going to actually get to see it in action. I'm really sorry about that, guys. So for the base of my rocky structure, I started with the yellow ochre. And I kind of put that all along the bottom. And then I brought in the burnt sienna from the top. And then for extra details, we go in with that indigo and a darker wash of the burnt sienna. And as I said, I'm so sorry. I'd already finished the rocks by the time I realized that you guys didn't get to see it. So, I mean, you can of course go and check out the class. It is day 8. You can see how she did that. She'll walk you through step by step. But I don't get to show it on my video. And it's one of those things where like, I was like, do I restart the painting? Like, but I like how it's turning out. So I opted to just keep the mistake in and just tell you guys how I kind of did it. And I mean, I'm so new to watercoloring that, you know, you're probably not learning very much from me, which is totally okay. The point of this series is more to encourage you to try something new and show grace as you show yourself grace as you kind of work through, learning the new in whatever you've chosen to learn. In this case, it happens to be watercolor for me, but it could be anything that you're, looking to learn. And then for the rocks, I just added a little extra detailing here. You're going to see that I brought in, a darker wash there to kind of add more shadow under this rock. Because in my opinion, I thought like maybe it was, sticking out and there'd be shadowing underneath the kind of rock face there. So I'm just going to add a little more detail. This isn't in the class. This is just me playing because at this point I'm starting to feel a little bit more confident in my watercoloring skills because like I said, this is my 8th watercolor landscape painting. So I'm kind of just, trying different techniques, working through things. I do dry between each layer. Generally, I don't show you that, but I did want to show you some steps on the rocks here. So I do dry between each layer and then I just add a little bit more interest into by dabbing on a little bit of water. So here you see I've taken a little bit of water and I kind of am just adding some texture to the rock in different areas. And then I'm going to grab a piece of paper towel and kind of just dab it off. This isn't necessary. Like I said, it wasn't in the class. It was just me wanting to add a little bit more interest to my rocky structure. So I did have a lot of fun kind of going rogue and doing my own thing with this painting, but I am sorry you guys missed some of the rock there. And then I get to lift the tape, which is probably one of the most exciting parts of doing these watercolors is lifting off the tape and showing the final result. I love that crisp white border. You guys know if you've been with me with my card making, I love a border. I love a layer. It just kind of, I think, helps something stand out. So I really enjoy removing the tape and getting to see, and I'm almost at a point where I can get my tape straight. Every once in a while I don't, or I have one layer like slightly thicker than the other, but I've been having a lot of fun and I think it's been turning out pretty great. So that is the painting I have for you guys today. Let me know your thoughts. Have you tried something new? How's it going with your new thing? How's it going? Let me know. Thank you so much, guys, and I will see you again very soon. Bye-bye for now.